What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson did report the minicamp today, which is fantastic news for us Jets fans. And then speaking of minicamp, me and producer Dylan are going to dive into some of our top storylines that each of us are watching during that period. But hey, you got to give Sauce and Garrett some love. Obviously, both those guys want to get paid. They want those contract extensions, but they decided to show up. So if you guys could hit that thumbs up icon to show those two some love. Put today's goal as 200 likes. If you guys could help us crush that goal, hit that thumbs up icon to show Sauce and Garrett Wilson some love. So Zach Rosenblatt tweeting this out. Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson both desire and deserve new contracts, but both have been showing up all offseason. Reflects well on them and on the culture Aaron Glenn is building too. And I totally agree with what he's saying here. You got to give credit to these two guys. Like Sauce and Garrett, obviously these are mandatory practices, so they do need to show up. But with them going through these contract, conversations and discussions, it tends to happen that even if you are a superstar player, that you just won't show up. Like Terry McLaurin, TJ Watt, a bunch of these superstar blue chip guys just did not show up to minicamp today. But Sauce, Garrett, clearly they are bought into Aaron Glenn. And I think Aaron Glenn has these guys bought in. If there was a different head coach for the New York Jets, I don't know who that could have been, but I promise you, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson would not have been showing up unless they fully were bought into what Aaron Glenn is showing them. And, that credit, it goes to Glenn because he has these guys ready to roll for next season. He has a plan in place that these guys are all buying into. So shout out to him. But also, I think Sauce is going to have a massive year. Check out this photo from Media Day yesterday. Absolutely awesome. Got to give credit to the Jets social media team on that one. But I think Sauce is going to revert back to who he was in his first two seasons in the NFL. Now, how much does he deserve to get paid? Well, that's a different conversation. Now, some of the top highest paid corners in the league, like Derek Stingley just got paid this offseason, $30 million per year over 3 seasons. J.C. Horn got a deal for 4 for $100. You still got Jalen Ramsey. He's up there. Pat Surtain, Jair Alexander now cut from the Green Bay Packers, but he was previously up there. But I honestly think Sauce deserves to be the highest paid cornerback. Yes, maybe you could just give him the same deal Stingley got, where it's just, hey, 3 for $90, you get $89 million guaranteed. I would just give Sauce 3 for $93. Give him $31 million per year. It would keep him happy. It would keep him motivated. And this is a guy, when he is playing his best football, he is the best cornerback in the league. He is one of the best coverage corners in the league. And, I think the PFF grades in his first 2 seasons really speak to that. I mean, specifically just the coverage grade here. 90-plus in both of his first 2 seasons, grading out overall very, very well, 87.9 in 2022, 88.6 in 2023. Now, obviously the run defense and the tackling part of his game definitely took a hit this past season, but I still think he just he deserves to get paid like the highest paid corner. When he is playing his best, which I think we will get that version as he's kind of hitting that athletic peak. He's got Aaron Glenn. He's got Steve Wilkes working with him now. I think this whole Jets defense could look differently compared to what it did at the tail half of last season. So I'm making him the highest paid corner. I'm willing to take that risk on Sauce. I think he's that talented. But how about his draft mate, Garrett Wilson? How much did the Jets offer him? Also, shout out to the social media team. This photo is awesome as well. They really did a number at Jets Media Day yesterday. But I think we got to look at the highest paid wide receivers here. Obviously, Jamar Chase got that massive deal done this offseason. Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb got done the offseason prior. DK Metcalf this year getting $33 million. I think that's a sweet spot for Garrett Wilson. He's probably going to want A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf money. And, kind of my take on this is the wide receiver market is still rising. I would rather get this done now compared to, let's just say some other wide receivers, bump DK and A.J. Brown down that list where maybe they signed $35 million deals, where Garrett Wilson feels he's better than those guys, where maybe next offseason, if you wait, you might just have to pay Garrett Wilson $38 million. But I do think you could get him done for $32, $33 million this offseason, and I would take that. Just literally give Sauce, give him the 3 for $93, give Garrett Wilson 3 for $99. Get both those deals done. Now, ideally, I would like those on 4-year contracts, but if they both agree to those 3-year deals, I think you just take it and run immediately. And Garrett Wilson's been very productive with, shaky quarterback play. Over 1,000 yards in each of his first 3 seasons. Obviously, I thought he looked his best last year with the competent quarterback play in Aaron Rodgers. But then again, he was still opposite of Devontae Adams, so he wasn't getting the target share that I'm anticipating he's going to get this season. But I just think this is a situation Jets just need to play it safe here. Extend both these guys. They're both blue chippers. They both are, no doubt, in my opinion, top 10 in their positions in the NFL. I think Sauce has a chance to be, the top player. Now, Garrett Wilson, I don't know if he'll ever be the number one wide receiver in the league, but also after this season, I wouldn't be shocked if we're saying, oh, Garrett's a no doubt top 5 wide receiver. Sauce is a no doubt top 3 corner. So I'm extending them both. But if you guys want to do the same, give me a me down below in the comment section if you want the Jets to extend both Sauce and Garrett. I do want to welcome in here producer Dylan. Welcome to the show again. But minicamp getting underway today. Dylan and I, we got 5 storylines we're watching, and mine's kind of an obvious one here for the first one. Just the Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson connection. Now, they obviously have that dating back to their days at Ohio State, but I'm mainly just looking at them, building that connection within the offense. Because Dylan and I, we've been talking about it a lot. They're going to be more of a run-first team. It's going to be more about pounding the rock. But still, when you're in those 3rd and 7 situations, you got to build that connection, whether that's like the back shoulder throws or just them meeting on in-breaking routes here. But I'm excited to watch that build, Dylan. We already saw it at OTAs, but I know you're excited as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Ohio State connection. The fact that they played with each other before. I mean, this is probably the quarterback that Garrett Wilson has been the most comfortable with throughout
100%.
His entire NFL career.
Yes, 100%. I mean, really, he hasn't had a connection with any quarterback. He wished he had that with Rodgers. Obviously, that ended up not working out. But, Dylan, I like yours here for the second one, the wide receiver 2 battle. I have no idea who's going to win it. But if you just want to talk about that a little bit, it's definitely going to be fun to watch here at minicamp.
Yeah, I think their slot position's actually more filled than their wide receiver 2 right now. The guy that's going to directly complement Garrett Wilson. Because you have speed.
Yes.
You have speed everywhere. That isn't your problem. You need that guy who's going to get up and get the ball. And whether that's Alan Lazard, Josh Reynolds, or some other guy that's going to step up into that role. Yeah. We don't know who that is.
And I would anticipate that Reynolds and Lazard, they probably get the nod early on in the season. But, I mean, if we're buying into all this Arian Smith hype, even at Pritchett, the UDFA, maybe he tries to, maybe not battle out for wide receiver 2, just battle it out to make the roster. But even though people kind of criticize the Jets roster for not having that true wide receiver 2, I think they kind of have it in the aggregate where they have a bunch of receivers who do a bunch of different things well. Like, yeah, Reynolds, one of the better run blocking wide receivers. Obviously, Arian Smith can take the top off of any defense. Corley, hopefully he's, lives up to that pre-draft hype. But I love that one. And then I just go across the other side of the ball here. The cornerback 2 battle. Now, I would assume Brandon Stevens wins this out. But also, A.Z. Thomas, he looks ready to go. If he is a massive minicamp, battling out with Garrett Wilson, I don't know. Dylan, let me actually ask you this. Do you think Aaron Glenn will have a little, for all the Knicks fans out there watching, a little Tom Thibodeau where he maybe is a little reluctant to play some of these some of these rookies? Or do you think there's a chance A.Z. Thomas is just a corner across from Sauce, week 1 of the season?
I think it's actually the opposite. I think he's going to play the younger guys. He wants
to
see what these guys have. And if you look at this roster, like the oldest player is Tyrod Taylor. It's a very young team, and that's what Aaron Glenn wanted.
Yeah, and he's been talking about that this entire offseason, just getting younger. So I'm hoping that A.Z. Thomas ends up winning that. Just to, play the younger guys. It's obviously more entertaining. But I actually didn't even see you put this one as number 4. I love this. Tony Adams versus Malachi Moore. I think Malachi's got a chance here, Dylan.
I think he definitely does. And I saw a comparison online that had him to Devin McCourty.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he's a player that's played both sides of the ball too, so he's a ball hawk. I mean, I think Malachi Moore could definitely take over for Tony Adams, who really hasn't showed much for the Jets, and the Jets haven't really had like a solidified safety since the other Adams that was there, Jamal Adams.
Yeah, and I like the combination of Moore and Cisco, where I do think Moore has some versatility to his game, where Steve Wilkes could get very creative with him, put him in the box. He can blitz him on certain plays. But I'm hoping Malachi Moore ends up popping. And honestly, just think about this whole Jets rookie class. Like, if they all have good camps, I mean, Mason Taylor, Membu's going to start. Like, what if A.Z. Thomas starts? What if Arian Smith wins it out? What if Malachi Moore wins it? I mean, the Jets could be starting 5 rookies here week 1 of the season. That's definitely on the table. But the last one for me, I'm just gonna dive more into the Aaron Glenn culture here. Like, we kind of going through the steps of the offseason, Dylan, where it's like you hear him talk at the scouting combine. All right, you start to get a feel of who he is. Then rookie minicamp, you really start to get a feel hearing Membu talk about him, Arian Smith talk about him. Then at OTAs, it even kind of furthered that. I'm just kind of seeing the whole process here where it's like, check all the boxes so far. All right, now next up is minicamp. But I mean, Dylan, I know you're excited. Just the feel of the New York Jets under Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, it feels like we're going back to like the old school Jets with him. Yep. There's not any drama. He's making this team's culture like finally something that you can be passionate about. Because the Jets have been a joke for like the last whatever so years. I mean, you can't even put a number on it. And now you have a guy who cares. He's bringing his energy into that organization, and the players also are buying into it, which I haven't really seen at all from the Jets.
And it's like it's a contagious energy he has, where it's like when he's walking into practice, like I'm sure he just has like an aura and a vibe around him where it's like, yeah, this is my team. And also, like, talk about Jets past couple of years. Teams have not had respect for the Jets. I promise you this season, even if the Jets go 6-11, they lose a couple of close games late, I promise you teams will be leaving that game versus the New York Jets being like, this is not the Jets from last year. This is a totally different feel. So those are the 5 things Dylan and I are watching at minicamp, and we appreciate you guys watching this entire show. If you guys made it to the end of today's show, just hit us with a Go Jets down below in the comment section. We're both fired up for it, and we'll have videos coming out this entire week talking about minicamp. So if you guys could, hit me with Go Jets down below in the comment section, and also hit that subscribe button on the way out. See y'all next time. As always, Go Jets.